When a struggling waitress noticed a young boy sitting alone at a table, clearly hungry and without money, her instincts took over. Without a second thought, she brought him a warm meal, paid for it out of her own tips, and gave him a comforting smile. But what she saw as a simple act of kindness wasn't seen the same way by her manager. Moments after, she was called into the office and fired on the spot for violating company policy by giving away food. Humiliated and heartbroken, she quietly left the restaurant, not knowing her actions had not gone unnoticed. Unbeknownst to her, the CEO of the restaurant chain had been dining in the corner, observing everything. Moved by her compassion and appalled by how the situation was handled, he made a bold decision. The next day, the CEO not only rehired her with a promotion but also implemented a new policy allowing staff to offer free meals to those in genuine need. What started as a painful moment became a powerful turning point. Not just for the waitress, but for the entire company. Her one act of kindness reminded everyone that humanity should always come before policy. It was a slow afternoon at the diner when a young boy walked in shivering, alone, and clearly hungry. He had no money, just tired eyes and a quiet plea for help. The waitress, already struggling to make ends meet herself, didn't hesitate. She prepared a warm meal and placed it in front of him with a gentle smile, telling him it was on the house. But her act of kindness didn't sit well with her manager. He pulled her aside, scolding her for giving away food without permission, and fired her on the spot for breaking company rules. She left in tears, heartbroken and humiliated, thinking she had simply done the right thing. What she didn't realize was that someone else had witnessed the entire interaction, a man quietly seated in the corner booth. That man was the CEO of the restaurant chain, visiting unannounced. He saw her compassion and the manager's cold reaction. The next day, she received a call. Not only was she rehired, but promoted. The CEO personally thanked her and introduced a new policy to ensure no one in need would be turned away again. Her kindness sparked a change, and it didn't go unnoticed. She had always believed in doing the right thing, even when it wasn't easy. So when a thin, shivering boy walked into the diner looking lost and hungry, the waitress didn't hesitate. She offered him a warm plate of food paid for out of her own pocket. To her, it was simple human decency. But to her manager, it was a violation of company policy. Within minutes, she was pulled aside and harshly reprimanded. Despite explaining that she covered the cost herself, she was fired on the spot. Her heart sank. All she had done was help a child in need. What she didn't know was that a quiet man sitting near the back had witnessed everything. That man was the CEO of the restaurant chain, visiting anonymously to observe operations. Deeply moved by her selflessness, and disturbed by how the manager handled it, he decided to act. The next morning, she received a call from corporate. Not only was she reinstated, but she was promoted to a leadership role with better pay and benefits. The CEO personally thanked her and introduced a new policy. Any employee who helps someone in genuine need will be recognized, not punished. Her kindness changed the company. In a small-town diner on a chilly evening, a waitress noticed a young boy sitting alone, his clothes worn and his face pale with hunger. He had no money, just empty hands and a quiet desperation. Without asking questions, she brought him a hot meal, paid for from her own tip jar. To her, it was the obvious thing to do, show compassion. But her manager didn't agree. Citing a strict no freebies policy, he fired her on the spot for giving away food without approval. Shocked and humiliated, she gathered her things and left in tears, wondering how doing the right thing could go so wrong. Unbeknownst to her, one of the customers that evening had watched everything unfold. That man was the CEO of the diner's parent company, visiting unannounced. He had seen her kindness and the manager's cold reaction. The very next day, she received a call offering not only her job back, but a promotion. The CEO thanked her personally and implemented a new company policy allowing staff to provide meals to those in real need, no question.